This is the Doctor speaking. Well, one of them. Is there anybody there? Oh dear, we are in trouble.
Oh, my giddy aunt. Oh, crumbs.
Well, I must say goodbye, Brigadier. I really shouldn't be here at all.
Hello and welcome to Theta Sigma's second Doctor Who podcast. As you may have noticed, we have a new theme tune in the shape of the second Doctor voiceover theme. Why the change? Well, the plan is that I'll change the voiceover theme for each month I'm releasing the podcast. So for January, William Hartnell's voiceover theme introduced the show. Throughout February, the introduction will be Patrick Troughton's voiceover theme. For March, John Pertwee's, and so on and so on. A little something there to help celebrate the show's 50th anniversary, and I hope you enjoy it. I also wanted to thank those of you who left some feedback following the first episode. It not only means that the show has some listeners, which is always a good thing, but more than that those who listened were actually interested. Thank you all of you, and more about what was said later on. You may recall from last week's show that I have a whole series of voiceover themes, and I wanted to play another one for you and see what you think, and if there are any others that you'd like to hear. While I can't promise I've got all the sound bites to create them all, it would be interesting to know what you, faithful listener, oh dear, how RTD was that after only 2 episodes, would like to hear. You can let me know at Theta Sigma's Doctor Who page on Facebook, or email me with this and any other feedback you may have on the show at respectthething@gmail.com. That's respectthething@gmail.com. But for now, here is the voice of the Zygons.
Welcome home, Warlord Hagels. You are inside the most sophisticated and powerful spaceship in the galaxy. The device will summon the beast from its nest deep in the catacomb. Seconding command, attack! The device is in place! Our warheads are stirring from their long sleep! You have a tiny human mind. You cannot fathom the complex loyalties and desires of the Zygons.
The voice of the Zygons there, getting today's episode of Theta Sigma's Doctor Who podcast well and truly up and running. And as I mentioned before, if you have any feedback on these, do give me a shout at the usual email or inbox me on Theta Sigma's Doctor Who page. So on to the main theme for this episode. You may remember I asked in the last show if there was any particular subject that you wanted me to talk about in the podcast. Well, one of the bits of feedback that stuck out for me was a request from a friend of mine to talk about the 6th and 7th, as I was to learn, Doctor's shape-shifting companion, Frobisher. I have to be honest and say that up until my research for this podcast, I was only aware of 2 appearances of the Flippard fella, and both of these were in Big Finish audios. How wrong I was. Frobisher has appeared in comic strips, graphic novels and books as well. But what of the character himself? Well, with huge thanks to both Wikipedia and TARDIS Wiki, and if you've not yet discovered this amazing website, get yourselves over to TARDISWikia.com. That's TARDISWIKIA.com and have a browse around. It truly is Wikipedia for Doctor Who. So with huge thanks to them, here goes with Frobisher's story. Frobisher appeared in the Doctor Who magazine comic strip in the 1980s. He was a companion to both the 6th and 7th Doctors. Now, the canonicity of the comic strips, like other Doctor Who spin-off media, is open to interpretation. But that's a whole other podcast. And if you have any views on the canonicity of the spin-off media, such as comic strips, books and graphic novels, do send me your feedback to the usual email address. That's respectthething@gmail.com. Or inbox me on Facebook at Theta Sigma's Doctor Who page. But I'm wandering off topic. Frobisher is a Whiffadil, a shape-changing alien. What is first assumed to be his natural form, as seen in his first comic strip appearance, is humanoid, pale yellow in colour, 3 to 4 feet in height, with a round, featureless head and glasses. However, he preferred to spend his free time in the form of a penguin, but more of that later. When he first appeared in The Shapeshifter in Doctor Who magazine, Frobisher was a private investigator, calling himself Haven't a Clue, which was a play on the phrase haven't a clue. He meets the Doctor when an enemy bounty hunter called Dogbolter had placed a bounty on the Doctor's head. After infiltrating the TARDIS, instead of turning the Doctor in for the money, Tarklu decided he liked the Time Lord and helped him to escape the bounty hunter. Then he joined the Doctor on his journeys, assuming the name of Frobisher because he thought it sounded British and therefore the Doctor would like it more. Frobisher was once married to another Whiffadil called Francine, who left him because she was a better detective than he was. Apparently he was very fond of her in penguin form, and that's why he adopted it, to remind himself of her. Frobisher travelled with the Doctor for quite a long time, occasionally parting company only for their paths to cross once again. When he first came on board the TARDIS, the Sixth Doctor was travelling alone, but in Kane's story in Doctor Who magazine, the Sixth Doctor's television companion Perry returned, apparently placing Frobisher's stories between the unmade season 23 and the Trial of a Time Lord season. Obviously Frobisher was not with the Doctor and Perry in the Trial of a Time Lord, but no explanation was provided in the comic strip for his absence. Frobisher's last appearance prior to Trial was The World Shapers, another Doctor Who magazine comic strip. At the end of Trial, it was revealed that Perry had married King Yrcanos and settled on the planet Krontep. The graphic novel, The Age of Chaos, written by Sixie himself Colin Baker, revealed that Frobisher and the Sixth Doctor visited Perry's descendants several times, so Frobisher must have rejoined the Doctor after Trial in an unseen story. After this story, Frobisher apparently departs again, since he's never again seen travelling with the Sixth Doctor. Frobisher was ultimately reunited with the Seventh Doctor, once again off-screen, and eventually departed permanently in another Doctor Who magazine comic strip, A Cold Day in Hell. Subsequently, he was seen to have set up a bar called Bish's, and remarried to a bird-like humanoid called Corella. Frobisher therefore had at least 3 distinct tenures with the Doctor, only one of which has a depicted ending. The canonicity of Frobisher as a companion is open to interpretation, as he's never appeared in a televised serial. Since his departure from the comic strip, Frobisher has occasionally appeared alongside the Sixth Doctor in spin-off media. These include a novel, Mission Impractical, and 2 Big Finish audio plays, The Holy Terror and The Maltese Penguin, both written by Rob Sherman and featuring Robert Gizek as Frobisher. The Maltese Penguin also features Dogbolter, the bounty hunter that originally brought Frobisher and the Doctor together, and also Francine. In the novel The Scarlet Empress, Iris Wildtime claims that a shape-changer who assumed the shape of a penguin was once her companion. This could refer to Frobisher, Francine, or someone else entirely. However, much like everything associated with Wildtime, this claim may or may not have anything to do with actual events. So there you have it. One of the lesser-known companions to the Doctor over the years, but definitely one of the more interesting. And I think that just about wraps things up for this episode of Theta Sigma's Doctor Who podcast. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to send your feedback to respectthething@gmail.com or inbox me at Theta Sigma's Doctor Who page. Until next time...
Well, goodbye, my boy. You did quite well. Quite well. It's reassuring to know that my future is in safe hands.